Hey guys, it's Christine, also known as Ivy Winter. Thank you for joining me for another Disney video. Today I'm doing an update video on my transportation video that I did, I want to say it's been a couple of years now. I did it with Rob on this channel where we talked about all the means of transportation at Disney. But things have really changed recently since then, and I wanted to kind of do an update video of everything that there is available and also what's coming. So we're talking about transportation in and around Disney World, both what they offer as well as what else you can use beyond that, just so people can get an idea of what this means, where things go, how they can travel, because I think it can be a little overwhelming, especially if you've never been to Disney World before. But even if you have, I think a lot of people don't know that some of the resorts have boats, or that some resorts are bus only, which might be important when you're choosing your resort. And there's a lot of other different options as well. So I want to just run through all of them so you guys can understand what transportation is like. First of all, Disney has its own transportation that is free, or at least in a way you've paid for it by staying on property, right? So if you're on property at Disney World, you have the monorail, you have boats, and you have buses. Those are the three main ways to get around Disney World that isn't a cab or something like that, which is what we will talk about later. But I want to talk about the free options first. Every single resort has some sort of transportation option, period. You're never going to be without transportation if you are on property at a Disney World resort. Many just have buses, but some also have boats and some have monorails. So we're going to start with the monorail because it's probably the smallest system of all of the transportation systems. That's not to say that it is not impressive. Granted, it probably needs some work. There's been some issues with the monorail lately. I think we all know that. But the monorail basically works in two different loops. So there's the Epcot monorail and there's the Magic Kingdom and Magic Kingdom Resorts monorail. Those are the only two parks the monorail goes to, so keep that in mind. The monorail to Epcot literally goes from what's called the Ticket and Transportation Center, which is where people park for Magic Kingdom, which is where you'll find the ferry boats in Magic Kingdom, which we'll get to in a second. Cabs will drop you off here, all of that. So the Ticket and Transportation Center, think of it as kind of a middle ground between Magic Kingdom and Epcot. The monorail for Epcot goes from there to Epcot and back. That's it. It's very simple. I'd probably say the ride is 10 minutes-ish to there one way. So it's very, very simple if you're taking the monorail to Epcot. It's just the one that goes in that direction. Now, going towards Magic Kingdom also comes from the Ticket and Transportation Center, and you can transfer from one monorail to another. So I highly recommend it if you're hopping from Epcot to Magic Kingdom or vice versa. Really easy way to do it. And this is a little different. There is an express monorail and there is what I'd call the local. I'm a New Yorker, so I think express local. That's just how we roll, which is the resort monorail. So the express one goes from Ticket and Transportation to Magic Kingdom. The resort monorail, what I'm calling the local, stops at the monorail resorts. So those are the Grand Floridian, the Polynesian, and the Contemporary. Sometimes it's worth it for you to just hop on that one to get to the Magic Kingdom if the Express isn't there yet. I highly recommend it. It's not going to add much more than a few minutes to your ride. Don't be afraid of it. Same when coming out of Magic Kingdom. Everyone wants to get on the Express to the Ticket and Transportation Center. My advice is just get on the resort line if you can get on it and there's less people. Always better to go the less people route. So basically, those are your options. Very easy ways to get to those other resorts if you want to check them out or if you're staying there. And then the monorail basically pulls right up to the front of Magic Kingdom, which is great. Now, we're gonna get into boats. And boats, there's a lot. 3 of the parks can be accessed by boat. Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios. Animal Kingdom cannot be accessed by boat, cannot be accessed by monorail, can literally only be accessed by bus or by car. Remember that. So, Magic Kingdom. How do you get there by boat? Well, first, like I said before, at the Ticket and Transportation Center, there is a ferry. So if you don't want to take the monorail, you can hop on the ferry, which I believe runs, I think it's like every 15 or 20 minutes. It is a fairly large ferry. It holds a lot of people to get across. It is slower than the monorail, but it is beautiful. It's a really, really, really nice ride across, so I highly recommend it as an option. You can get there by boat from the Grand Floridian or Polynesian, so you don't have to hop onto the monorail. If you're staying at the Contemporary, I feel like you can just walk. A lot of people don't realize this. It is like a very quick walk from the Contemporary to Magic Kingdom. I highly recommend that path. Almost always. Don't get on the monorail, don't do any other sort of thing, just walk. You can also get there from Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground and the Wilderness Lodge. I have stayed at the Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground in the cabins and taken the boat over, and that is super, super nice. I've also done like Magic Kingdom to Poly by boat when I'm getting like lunch or something, just because that's really nice as well. So anything that's in the immediate area, and then you have, you know, Fort Wilderness, those can all take boats to the Magic Kingdom. Those boats are smaller than the main ferry boat that goes from the Ticket and Transportation Center. Then you have Epcot and Hollywood Studios, which can be accessed by the Friendship boats. This is a different boat line because it's on different waterways. Basically, all of your boardwalk area resorts can access both parks by boat. So that is the Boardwalk Inn and Villas, that is the Beach Club Resort and Villas, that is the Yacht Club, and that is the Swan and Dolphin. The boats stop at every single one of those resorts, as well as Epcot and Hollywood Studios, all on the same line. So it's really easy to get from resort to park, park to resort, resort to resort. It's a really easy way to get around that whole entire area, and again, a really lovely ride. You can also walk from basically Hollywood Studios to Epcot. It takes me about 25 minutes. Might be a little longer for other people depending on how fast or slow you walk. So that is also an option. And if you're in the boardwalk area, since you're center, you can walk to Hollywood Studios or Epcot about 10 to 15 minutes. Actually, I would say 15 minutes to Hollywood Studios, 10-ish minutes to Epcot, because there's a back entrance that way. This is a really easy way to get around, and especially because Hollywood Studios currently seems to be a little nuts with the buses and the parking situation because they're doing a lot of construction. It actually might make more sense, if you can, to take the boat or walk if you find yourself in the boardwalk area. You can also go to Disney Springs by boat, and a lot of people don't realize this because it's only from a couple of resorts. It is a lovely way to get there. You can get to Disney Springs from Port Orleans Resort, the French Quarter, and Riverside, since they share the same space and the same boat area, Old Key West, and Saratoga Springs. So if you're staying at any one of those 4 resorts, you can take a boat to Disney Springs. And then buses, they run everywhere. They run to and from every single resort. Even these resorts that have monorails and boats also have buses, every single resort. This also includes the Swan and Dolphin, which is technically not a Disney-owned hotel, and Shades of Green, also not a Disney-owned hotel, that is the military hotel. They also are provided with buses, so you don't have to worry if you're staying at either of those. And then we have the upcoming Skyliner, which is not finished yet, but I'm sure a lot of you have seen that it's basically this like gondola system. Mixed reviews right now on how people feel about it, but it is a new system that is being built. I don't believe they have an exact date yet when it's opening, but it is going to start at the Caribbean Beach Resort. That's going to be the main hub. It's going to go to Art of Animation and Pop, which is really cool. Like, it's going to stop in the middle so you can walk to either resort. And it will be going to Hollywood Studios, up to the Riviera Resort, which is going to be like the DVC, I believe, next to Caribbean Beach, and over to Epcot. So it'll be a Hollywood Studios and Epcot, mainly transportation. Also going from some values and from moderate, which is a really interesting way of connecting all of those resorts. Again, no opening date, but the rumor is in time for Star Wars Land. I don't know, that's coming up pretty soon. That should be in about a year, less than a year. So we'll see what's actually going to happen. There's a lot of artwork and specs out there right now that you can check out, including a map that they've been sharing at the resorts that are gonna have it, which is really cool. So that is coming, but it is not here yet. There's also Minivan, which is Disney's own Uber, I guess you can consider it. It used to only be at deluxe resorts, but they've now made it available to all resorts. So you can go resort to a park. I believe it is flat fee of $25. This is from anywhere from 6:30 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. You can call one. The great thing about a minivan that I will say is pretty much as a cast member driving, they know their way around. They're going to be able to give you some interesting information. They're going to drive you the right way. I've had a lot of Uber drivers try to drive us into the cast member like work entrance and get chewed out by the cast members there because they just go by GPS and they don't know where they're going, whereas a minivan will know exactly where they're going. However, $25 is not cheap. Ubers are a lot cheaper, Lyfts are a lot cheaper. But it is a minivan, so it can hold up to 6 people. It might make sense if you're a family of 6. If you're a large party and you want to split the cost, then it's not too bad. It works with the Lyft app, which is really interesting. They also have 2 car seats for every minivan, so if you have little ones, you've got car seats already, which is great. You don't have to pay more for that. And they are right now doing a airport run as well, which is $150. Sorry, I have notes here. $150. Again, a little pricey. I've definitely done airport to a resort by Uber for like $60, $65. So I personally have not found it worth it for me, but I can see why people really like minivans. They're gonna stick around, I think, for quite a while. You can spot them a mile away. They literally look like Minnie Mouse. They're red minivans with white polka dots on them. Kind of cute. And so that's another option, owned by Disney. Flat rate, so at least you know what you're gonna pay every single time. And then of course I have on here Uber, Lyft, cab. I'm gonna be honest, I've taken Orlando cabs before, like their yellow cabs. I do not like them. I've had a lot of poor situations of them trying to get me to pay cash. They won't take my card. This is something that happens in New York a lot. I don't really like that. They haven't always been the nicest drivers in the world, so I opt to do Uber or Lyft. But like I said before, it's cheaper, but sometimes they don't know where they're going. So kind of a toss-up. I one time had an Uber driver, I think I was with Rob, who was supposed to drive us to another park and was literally driving us off Disney World property, like towards the airport, and then realized and had to turn around. So buyer beware, that could happen, but it also could happen anywhere. GPS apparently is not great in Disney World, and so because they don't have the knowledge of the area as well, a lot of them, to toss up what's going to happen. But if you know the area well, that's helpful. You can definitely direct them where to go. So those are all of the transportation options you have, both paid and free. Hopefully this makes a lot of sense. I ran through it pretty quickly because there's just a lot. But I hope that it helps if you're looking into transportation for your trip and what it all means. Woo! Okay, I would like to know in the comments below, what is your favorite mode of transportation at Disney? Boat, bus, monorail, cab? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, then like it. If you like me, you should subscribe. I make videos every single week, and I love chatting with you guys about this stuff. I hope this helps with planning. As always, have a great rest of the day. Bye.